Welcome to the Woodridge Audio Project. I'm David, or Dave if you prefer, from audioprojectcentral.com, and I'm hosting the Woodridge Audio Project. The Woodridge Audio Project aims to offer you a deeper look, or rather listen, into various aspects of the Woodridge College and Preparatory School. The first series of episodes will be focused on character profiling some of the staff members at the college and preparatory school for both informative and, I'm sure you will agree, inspirational purposes. Please do share the Woodridge Audio Project episodes with friends and family by sending episode links or news of the episodes to everyone you know in every way possible. Social media, email, WhatsApp, word of mouth, carrier pigeon, gossip, telepathy, and whatever else you may use. Please do click like for the episodes at whichever platform you are using to access them. For more information about Woodridge or to contact the team, visit www.woodridge.co.za. The guest for this episode is Mr. Cliff Reed, who is the head of pastoral care and outdoor education at the preparatory school. The interview kicks off with me having already asked Mr. Reed to talk a bit about his background.
My background of my early development started in sports. I was a keen rugby player, enjoyed the game, picked it up in high school, and was very fortunate in following an early career playing a bit of professional rugby for the EP men's side. That fortunately helped me pay through my varsity fees. And I was lucky enough to have a high school sweetheart, my girlfriend, who's my wife now. We dated from she was 13, I was 14. And just turned out amazingly that we've been actually teaching at the same school for the last 3 schools. Yeah, we've enjoyed 19 years of marriage. So that's basically a fast forward to where I'm at now. The Woodridge journey just fell into our path, really. We were very comfortable in the government school in Port Elizabeth. And unfortunately, with the department not paying the temporary teachers, my wife was quite desperate for a post. And God just really intervened for us. And a post became available. Trevor interviewed us 1 September, and the very next year, we were here, which was 2011.
And your role at the school?
Yeah, so Dave, my role at Woodridge has been really an evolving role. I must say, Trevor Van Berg at the head of the prep is the real visionary. And I believe he's got the staff development at the forefront of his mind. And so I've been very fortunate. I started off being a class teacher for different grades, started off in grade 7, worked my way right down to grade 5 consecutively. Spent 2 or 3 more in grade 6. And then, you know, as an aspiring teacher, you kind of feel like you don't want to stagnate. You're ready for the next challenge. Trevor could obviously feel and sense that. And was very fortunate in being appointed the director of rugby across the campus, where I worked closely with Ryan Skeppers, which was fantastic, a fantastic year, challenging. We turned a rugby season from losing every game, and in 2 years' time, we actually ended up with an unbeaten year. So that was a lovely way to challenge ourselves and grow. Trevor then appointed me as the head of the boarding house at the prep, which was a lovely challenge again, but having 2 little kiddies. My daughter Abby at the time was 3 and my son Daniel turned 1. And it was lovely and exciting, but you've got to really throw yourself at the boarding establishment. It's got to be something that the family buys into completely, which I agreed to a 4-year season. And really loved it, threw myself at it, and was really excited about the job, but could feel that it wasn't something I could sustain. You know, I needed to then look for something else. And then, so right now I'm really being stretched. I'm heading up the pastoral care, so really pioneering the pastoral care arm here at Woodridge Prep. It's been a lovely challenge, but something that's still growing and developing. And I'm also fortunate to be able to heading up the outdoor education here at the Prep, taking over big boots to fill in Billy Teaton's role, where he's moved on to the cross-campus outdoor director.
As someone who's taught the philosophy of religion before in different contexts, school and university, I have a tough question for you. How do you cater for people of a more secular or perhaps philosophical, skeptical persuasion?
That's a great question, Dave. From experience, from being a youngster and being part of scripture unions or SCA groups or going to children's church, it's so easy to what they've termed Bible bash or be forceful. And I've been in those situations, and it's not always easy. You find yourself in, like you've just said, questioning situations, or, bad things happen to good people. And you've got all those questions, or maybe people that have never, ever experienced Christianity or any faith, to be that honest. And like you've said, the word secular, I find the major difference in, I'm not saying converting, but, getting through to people is through relationships. Establishing a relationship, often letting your actions speak a lot louder than your words. And then through that, people then come with questions. In my faith, in Christianity, Christ does speak in those small ways, and people are drawn to that. And there's a purity in our faith that people are drawn to naturally, I feel.
Could you speak a little bit about any of the highlights that you've had during your time at Woodridge?
I'm a keen outdoorsman. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've dabbled in a bit of Ironman experience. I've been very fortunate. Again, I've mentioned a special guy, Billy Teaton. He's been a really amazing mentor for me. Never been able to paddle before. And through being forced to teach children how to paddle, really embraced it and enjoyed it. We've managed to compete in a few doozies, a few Fish River canoe experiences. The childhood dream of mine was to do rock climbing. And I thought it was really a far-fetched dream. Just recently, I managed to do a wall climbing supervisor course, and our rock climbing club has grown from strength to strength. We've got many children that we take regularly to the crags and to the gym. That's really a school highlight in terms of the co-curricular activities. Through this COVID situation and experience, there's been a lot of negative or frustration creeping in, but I've realized a real highlight for me is the time that we've had to enjoy with our families. And if I had to really get to the essence of any highlight, it would be to be able to do life with such an awesome family. My kiddies growing up right on my doorstep with me, and enjoying the outdoors in such an amazing campus and experiencing things together, I would say would rank right up there with the best.
If I could ask you to offer one piece of advice to your students and colleagues, what would it be and why?
So the student question I'll leave for last. I believe I haven't really got the answer to that just yet. And I don't think I will in my teaching career, which is great. I think to the colleagues, you come out fresh from university and you've got so much pedagogics and teaching ideas and plans. It's so easy to lose the heart of what our job entails. So I'd really say that, that Kurt Hahn philosophy of there's so much more in you than you think. And to try and find positive ways for children to find their justification or find their value. Some children get great value from the classroom, and so they get their justification and their praise in the classroom. That we're all seeking praise. And it's just a human need. And so being here in this environment has really provided me with wide open eyes to realize that not all children are the same, but they all got the same need of being praised, of being affirmed, and being able to think out the box and finding clever ways to affirm children, being on the sports field, being in the outdoors, being in the music classroom, and finding ways. As soon as a child feels affirmed, it's amazing how their confidence grows, and they realize quite quickly that there certainly is more in them than they think. So that's the first part of the answer, Dave. The children, any pearls of wisdom, I think just a small one, for them to feel comfortable in the fact that their best is always good enough. So getting 12 out of 40 instead of covering your mark, or, if it's your best is always good enough. I mean, it's a silly example about a test score. The difficult thing is for them to realize what their best is and to get their best out of them. That's the challenge.
Cliff, do you have a favorite book, film, documentary, podcast, or anything that you like to recommend to listeners?
Right, Dave. Yeah, so on the literature front, the personal growth, leadership and management, I find Simon Sinek, his book From Leaders Eat Last, I find that very inspiring. It's a very servant leadership style on managing and growing your staff around you. I thought that was really a lot of food for thought, challenging, a lot of reading, a lot of rereading, but really useful in terms of growing people around you. Jim Collins writes a good book, From Good to Great. Again, talks about getting the right people on the bus, getting people in the right seats of the bus, so getting the best out of the people around you. I found they really helped shape the way I interact with my staff. It's certainly helped. Currently reading a really inspiring book about the Tamaura tribe and trail running and just minimalistic running. And it kind of allows you to switch off, take your mind into the mountains and get a bit more wild. I think that's really a lot of people, I think, find trail running is so therapeutic and being out in the wild. And I believe that after this pandemic, I think a lot more people will need to get what we call vitamin N, getting out into nature and just to almost de-tech, because we're faced with so much technology, and that's how we're meeting these days, it's how we're interacting, and we almost feel bound by it. So I believe that a lot of the therapy that people are going to be needing is going to be getting out into the wild to almost wash off that connectedness, over-connectedness.
Final question from me. Do you have any extra thoughts to conclude the interview?
In our roles as teachers and finding ourselves on management seats, I think our challenge really, really lies in getting the most out of our staff. Using your staff's gifts, talents, expertise in the right channel is not always easy in a school setting, because we often have to operate within environments where we might not feel ourselves being comfortable. And I think the key there is just to allow the staff to make sure that they feel free to bring their own spice, their own talent, their own flavor to whatever activity or classroom or subject that they're actually presenting. That comes through confidence, through them feeling safe, through them feeling empowered, and also for them feeling okay to make mistakes. And I think that's a key thing that I've learned through. Again, I'll mention Trevor Van Berg's name. I think he's just so committed to that, to allowing you to grow, allowing you to make mistakes. And that's exactly where we learn. So, being in that safe position to try new things and to grow. And so that's what I really try to endeavor and will try to endeavor as I grow in the school setting.
And that brings us to the end of the interview. Thanks for listening, and please do remember to share the episodes and relevant social media posts with your friends and family, and like the episodes at whichever social media platform you found them on. If you have any follow-up questions, head over to www.woodridge.co.za, where you will find the contact details for the school, and you can contact me at www.audioprojectcentral.com.